All right, so welcome everybody. I see we have people from all over the world here. We are over 1,600 people now, and the number is still jumping. So for those of you just joining us, welcome. So I want to welcome everybody to our crisis management webinar. Thank you for joining us from home today. My name is Ron. I'm a customer success manager here at monday.com. And we're here with KPMG Israel, who will present their best practices on business continuity and crisis management while using monday.com to manage the processes involved. I will also be showing you how we here at monday.com use our own platform to manage a crisis. And the last 20 minutes will be for you guys to ask any questions. So please put any questions you have in the Q&A box. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. We'll also have people answering questions directly in the Q&A section as the webinar is going on. Make sure that the audio is on your computer speakers, and if you have any trouble seeing the screen, just make sure that you are on the right desktop. So following the webinar, you guys will also receive a link with the recording and sign-up link. So if you have any questions on that, you'll be getting that in your email. So that being said, it is my pleasure to introduce Eyal Tzur from our partnerships team. He's in charge of our global strategic alliances, and Meital Raviv, director and head of fintech and innovation at KPMG Israel.
Thank you, Ron. Hi, everybody. This is really, really exciting. So many people. I'm really excited. So those are very challenging times, which require new ways of thinking, and we are here to support you in various ways. I believe today it's more evident than ever before. Only companies that manage to adopt more flexible and agile ways of working will successfully overcome this crisis, and eventually your company can become even stronger than before. So as you all know, Monday was designed with the flexibility to fit thousands of processes, enabling remote teams to better collaborate together. And today we're going to focus mainly on the crisis management part. We have recently announced our strategic alliances with KPMG to provide together 360 digitalization solutions to clients. And KPMG are providing unique solutions and a wide variety of professional services on top of the Monday platform, which is very exciting for us. So as of the agenda for today, KPMG Israel will present their best practices for managing the COVID-19 crisis. They will also share the solutions they've built for analyzing and managing the crisis, as well as their recommendation for successful recovery. And we will also show you how we at monday.com are keeping the business continuity. And lastly, we'll have the fun Q&A session along with a panel of experts from KPMG Israel, which will be very exciting for everybody. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Meital from KPMG Israel.
Hi, hello everyone. So as well as Eyal said, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Eyal and Ron, and thanks to Monday team for inviting us to be with you today. I'm not sure you're seeing, okay. I'm Meital Raviv, and I lead the FinTech and Innovation practice in KPMG Israel, and I'm responsible for the partnership with Monday. Here with me from KPMG Israel also is Ronnie Michael, the head of tech consulting. Ronnie, say hello.
Hey guys, hi. Happy to be here.
Shaked Levy, who is the head of cybersecurity. Shaked.
Yes, hi everyone.
We have a bit of delay. And Gal Peled, who is the head of IT advisory.
Hi, nice to hear and
okay, so as I said, I'm very excited to be here and show you how we leverage our knowledge and best practices with the technology of that Monday brings. So without further ado, let's talk about the COVID-19 situation, because this is the reason that we are all here. I believe that most of you faces some difficulties in the day-to-day life, personally and business-wise, while dealing with the new virus that attacks us. The COVID-19 is a unique crisis, is an epidemic situation that requires us to behave differently than what we used to do. So we can see on the slide that there are 6 steps while speaking of crisis management and business continuity plan. You can assume that most of the countries already made through the first 2 steps, which is prepare and protect. And not all of the countries had the time to prepare, of course, but worldwide, we passed these phases of preventing the crisis, which bring us to the next level of response, which is the reactive steps. Most of the countries these days are handling the response and recovery steps, the process, and everyone is talking about the day after. So what will happen once we'll once we will learn how to live with the virus? So we can map different scenarios for the near future, but the level of uncertainty that comes with this specific crisis is so high that we have to learn how to act and lead through uncertain times and new reality than we knew before. What you can see in the slide is that once you get to control the process within your company and manage it, the operation level would return to its normal stage. At least we hope so. So this is the theory. Let's see how we took it to practical solution. Okay, so once analyzing the current situation, we identified 4 pillars that each company needs to take care of while building the crisis management plan and handling with the current crisis. We focused on management aspects, IT, cybersecurity technology aspects, operational and HR, and finance aspects, which specifically in the current reality is very relevant. I have mentioned that the content, I have to mention that the content that you will see in the boards is the high-level generic content that you can use as an example of actions you need to take in order to manage the situation and not to be managed by it. So it's not a recommendation, it's our best practice. So what we did is to create a specific workspace. Sorry, I have a technical issues here. Let's go to the platform. Okay, what we see here is that we in COVID-19 and I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Bear with us. We're having some technical issues working from home.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have a delay in the network. So we created a workspace with the 4 pillars that I mentioned before. We have four folders with 4 business vectors, and for each one, we see the management folder, the cybersecurity and IT, the operation and HR, and finance. If we deep dive, we start with the management, and let's go to the General Crisis Management Board. We see here that we divided it to 5 sections. This is a board that gives an overview to the management level. It can be for C-levels or VPs, and the idea is to create one board that gives the management the ability to know what is the immediate steps, what are the business impact analysis that we need to take, and of course, the recovery strategy and remediation steps that we will talk about it later. So let's open some of these topics. Okay, so what you see here is the immediate steps a company needs to take in order to handle this crisis. This is based on fundamental business continuity process and management, and we just put a step-by-step, it's not recommendation, but a step-by-step analysis of how to handle this type of crisis. In this current situation, we need to take care of the health, especially because this is an epidemic crisis. So let's see, for example, the health status activity. We can see on the side that we put some checklists on what we as a management and HR need to do in order to handle this crisis. We need to keep track of each employee history record. We need to daily monitor the health status of our employees. We need to be aware of if there is a suspicion of being sick and to send the employee home for self-isolated. We need to define health procedures, to take prevention steps, and of course, to define the plan B in case of infection, who is replacing the employee, etc.
Just to expand.
So,
sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Go on.
Just to expand on that, by using our tags feature, you can get an instant overview of the health status across the whole company, pulling in information from across your whole account. So if I click on this health tag right here, this will open up and I will instantly get a full overview of the health status of the company. As you can see, we have here the employee's name and whether they're waiting for test results or not. We have automations that the second that the status changes to healthy, the employee moves to the healthy group. We know which employees travel to where and when they returned on and what team on they're on. We've also classified them if they're essential or not. So this really allows you to view everything in one centralized place. Also, you can set up automations like we have. So we have about 9 automations set up on this board that will notify the relevant team when their team is assigned to a task. So let's say the management board team, as you can see here, is assigned to the crisis management task. The second that they're assigned, Yoni and Meital, who are assigned to this task, will automatically get an email, a customized notification saying, hey, go and check out the crisis management board. We have to start working on this. And if you look to the right to our timeline column here, what we have done is we've connected our timeline for each task to the status of each task. So if you hover over the timeline, you can see that this task was done on time. And let's say we go to the adapting critical processes task, we can hover here and we can see that it was done 6 days after the deadline. We can also see how many days we have left. So this way you can really stay on top of deadlines and nothing is missed, which is really crucial in times like this. Finally, now during a crisis, it's really important to keep the team synced and on the same page, and collaboration is really key here. So with our brand new Zoom integration, you are able to hold a meeting via Zoom, and once the meeting is finished, the recording is sent over automatically for the board, so the rest of your team and from different departments can collaborate and minimize the information silos. So as you can see here, we have recordings from all the different meetings that anybody on the team can access.
Yeah, so this is great, and I want to remind you that this is enable you as a company to see in one place the status of your employees, which is a very critical issue in the current crisis. So from here, I want to move to the second critical area that we need to control, and I'm talking about the risk management. So when dealing with crisis management of any kind, you have to manage your risks. The best way to manage risks is to define it in routine days, and once you are facing a real crisis, you have the risks you need to handle. What we see here is a board that aggregates the activities you need to take to manage the supplier risks. Unfortunately, one of the immediate results of the virus and social distancing is the unstableness of our supply chain. Each company needs to identify its weakness points and manage it third-party suppliers, whether it's to move to alternative option or to make sure that your supplier will stand up with its obligations. So we built a board that maps all the risks and creates a full risk map, which you can use once you score the severity and probability of each risk. We can take, for example, the supplier risk management subcategories. What we have here is a list of activities you need to do to manage the different types of suppliers and dependencies. I want to show us some of the features that we put in the board.
So as Meital said, the risks are classified by probability, impact, risk level, and response. So firstly, what you can do is you can set up automations on the board that will adjust any changes to the risks. So let's say the impact for product quality risks. So it goes from low, and then the impact is low and the impact changes to high. So what will happen is the risk level will automatically update. You can also quickly calculate important calculations such as expected loss. So as you can see here, we have different calculations. And what this does is using the formulas, it will take the full potential and the risk level and it will automatically calculate the expected loss. And if any changes are made, this automatically adjusts this way, you know, in this dynamic time period where things are changing day by day and new updates are coming out, everything is updated in real time. And that leads us to our high level view of the risk. And back to Mital.
Okay, so what we can see here is an aggregate dashboard of all the risk management aspects. This dashboard gives you in one shot your current situation in terms of risk management and threat on your company. On the right hand, we see a stress test graph. It's a smart tool that allows you with a few steps and financial data to get a view of your normal growth before the crisis. This is the blue line that you see. And what happens to it with the epidemic and how and what are the steps you need to take to mitigate the risks and to change the results of the graph. So we see the blue line, which is the normal. We see the yellow line, which is if you are continue in the same way, what will happen with your reports and the cash flows. And the purple line is how to mitigate the risks and maybe to return to normal with a few steps you can take. This is a very powerful tool. At the back end, it uses the Monday forms, of course, and data and financial data that everyone can put inside. And in one shot, you see what is the current situation of your company. Next, on the right side, we can see the response cost versus the potential loss. Here, of course, the most critical view is the potential loss because this allows us to handle or to manage the steps we need to take in order to control these risks. And again, all this dashboard is supposed to give us in one view all the things we need to do in order to manage the situation. On the left, beneath the stress test, we can see a battery chart, which gives us a view of how many high risks activities I have in the current time. Once we click this, we can drill down to the board itself.
Yes, so once you go ahead and click this, as you can see, it automatically gives you all the high-level risks. I can filter between medium and low, and everything is still centralized in one place. What's really great is this allows you to drill down and even make changes in real time to your data from here. So you can get that high-level view and that more in-depth view all in one place without having to make any transitions back and forth.
Great.
Now we're moving on to cybersecurity.
Hi again, everyone. So as I mentioned at the beginning, my name is Shaked Levy. I'm the head of cyber practice at KPMG. As a cybersecurity person, protecting our organizations from cyber attacks, life has become more difficult in these times, crazy times. While it's on a personal level, we're on a lockdown, we need to opposite to allow us to operate, to open up our systems and find new ways of working for our people and the organizations that we are working in. Criminals are taking big advantage of these situations, and we are seeing the attacking is ramping up dramatically, up to 70 times normal. Organizations are focusing on rapidly expanding digital footprint, but with lower security effects. We see a new working patterns, major business changes. People are using unfamiliar IT systems all over and applications. A growing level of fear and uncertainty for many people working remotely. And we see a major increase on COVID-19 themed phishing attacks that playing on fear. Using this. Just in the last week only, we have seen over 15,000 new coronavirus and COVID-19 themed sites. We have seen coronavirus themed phishing emails, even attaching malicious Microsoft documents and exploits. Video conference we're using on a daily basis now. We're seeing real threats enabling a potential hacker to join the video calls, the meetings. They are listening in. They can potentially accessing the files or the information shared during these meetings. Phishing emails coming from World Health Organization, government authorities, legitimate businesses, and there are so many other examples that we are seeing. So how can we protect ourselves and the organizations that we are working in? Cybersecurity become a major part of the business continuity nowadays. As part of the cyber assessment, the board, now you can see on the screen, helping, making sure that the organization is adopting the best practices around cyber processes. I want to share with you a few examples that we have in the boards, and later you can see much more when you can get in or download it. For example, securing video and audio conferencing platforms. Do we manage access to remote calls and making best of use of these security features? What is the accessible set of security controls? Who is going to approve that? How do we raise awareness of the threat of my organization? Did we take a sensible step of improve my email security in my organization? How do I making sure that my suppliers is secured? How do I manage my supply chain risk? How do I secure my supplier payment process? How do I handle cyber events during a crisis? Do I have a proven process for that? Did I review this process? What should I do if it happens? And we have many, many more examples on our boards that you can see later. The board will be updated periodically from our experience we are having in KPMG globally with our customers and also with the vault situations, of course. So thank you very much, and back to you, Ron.
Thank you, Shaked. So as you can see, we've kind of jumped from risk management to general crisis management to cybersecurity. So we've kind of touched on many different aspects here and gone from different departments and different teams. And when you're managing a crisis, you want to allocate resources accordingly. So we have a view just for that. It's called the Workload View. And as you can see, the view is filtered by team member here. And you can filter by days, by weeks, by months. And you can decide what is the maximum amount of tasks someone on your team can work on in a given week, day, or month. So if someone is within that limit, so let's say I've set the limit in the settings here to 4, the circle here will be blue. If they go over the limit, the circle will turn red. And before even drilling down into the task and seeing what's going on, you can get a clear picture of where your team's effort stands. So let's take Yoni here. As you can see, he's over his limit. So if I click on the circle here, I get a more in-depth view with a timeline view of what tasks he's working on and when. And let's say I want to move a task to a different week. This way, he can stay under the limit. So if all I have to do is quickly click and drag, and then he turns, all the circles turn blue, and you know that he's back under the limit. So this is really a great way to not only drill down and get a more in-depth view of all the tasks, but also to allocate resource accordingly. You can always also click on the task and make changes to the whole task straight from here. Again, removing the need to make, from going to website, from board to board, from account to account. This way, everything is all in one centralized place. So I will now be walking you through how we here at monday.com are using the platform to manage different aspects of the current crisis. So, back to Meital on the recovery steps.
Yeah, sorry, it's okay. This is a live video, so things happen. Yes. So as Ron mentioned, we jumped from different areas in different sections because we tried to give you a taste of what we did here and what we done with monday.com. But as I mentioned earlier, we have covered the full areas that the company needs to take care of while dealing with this crisis. But I would like to take a minute to talk about recovery strategies and remediation steps. As I mentioned in the first slide, in most countries, we can see that governments and businesses are looking at the day after the crisis. How we as a society successfully live with the virus, just as we are doing with the regular flu. To remind you, some of the governments thought this is a regular flu at the beginning. So business-wise, what we did is actually put here a list of activities you need to take while thinking of what my business need to do to inclusive the epidemic. So you can see that we have specific several areas that your business need to look while planning the coming future. Let's quickly go through the main items. First, in order to maintain business as usual, you have to take care of the safety environment and people. You can see that we mentioned actions like sterilization supplies, new procedures to take with your employees, and so on. We can also see some activities regarding communication plans. You need to make sure you would be able to maintain an open communication channels with the company stakeholders. Next is the government support programs. Each country has a different support from their government. And of course, finally, the financial aspects. Take a look at your cash flow, your credit line, your tax reports, and so on, and try to optimize creditors' conditions and other steps you can take to reduce your costs. So just to summarize what we've heard here today from us, we discussed the specific situation of the worldwide epidemic we are facing and what are the steps we need to take to control and manage the situation. We talked about the coming future and the next steps, and we described how to use the Monday platform in order to maintain all activities in the same place and to get control over the situation while thinking of updating. This is a live platform. Everyone is updated within the platform. So it gives the company the ability to really control the situation. So from now, I think that this is an overall view of what we at KPMG thought would be very helpful for companies all around the world to get in order to handle the crisis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meital. And as we said earlier, all this will be, also the recording will be available, and also sign up and all the information that Meital and her team was talking about will also be available to you guys. So now I'm going to be touching upon how we use the platform here at monday.com to manage the crisis. And let's start. So this is our Corona General Updates board. This is where you can see any important updates or changes that you need to know. The updates can range from working from home readiness. So as you can see here, you know, we can IT forums if you need anything, updates from the Ministry of Health, to our initiative that our New York team is working on to sending food to the New York hospitals for healthcare workers. So this is really just a great place to keep everything, all the general updates in this time of crisis in one place and relevant for everybody. You can see the little chat bubble is blue in some places, which shows that there was an update posted in the last 7 days. So, you know, this way you can keep track of anything recent, and, you know, you just by looking at the board, you know if there's any recent updates. We have 2 offices, so one here in Tel Aviv and an awesome team based in New York City. And it's really important to keep things organized between the 2 offices. So what you can do here is you can assign the relevant team to each update. This way each team knows what is relevant for them, and this helps keep things synchronized and organized within the 2 offices. The really amazing thing is with our Zoom integration, you can start a Zoom meeting for everybody with a click of a button up here. And, you know, that really just allows you to collaborate instantly. So both our offices with a click of a button can start collaborating and working on any one of these crisis updates. So moving on, I'm moving on to our community help board. So during these difficult times, we believe that it is crucial to help organizations working to help those in need. There are many organizations out there and many moving parts, thus the need to manage everything properly. We are donating our travel budget right now to different organizations, and we have offices in 2 locations. So there's a lot of initiatives going on in 2 different locations right now. So We chose areas of society which we felt would benefit from our donations, including elderly populations, children with cancer, refugees, and families below the poverty line. And as you can see here, we track the kind of organization that we're working with. Using the status column here, we can also track the status and where each initiative stands and the priority. This way we know what steps we need to take and we can prioritize accordingly too. You can also track that the amount of people that will be affected by this, the budget needed, the cost per item, you know, whether they need money or whether it's money and whether it's laptops and tablets for kids to be able to study from home. So all this is happening in one centralized place. So that really helps us with our community initiative. Moving on is our Operations Help Center. So one of the more crucial aspects of managing a crisis, regardless of what kind of company you're running, is keeping the operations, and if this is, you know, IT or something else, running smoothly. So this becomes complicated once things need to be done remotely. The platform has been extremely valuable for us in this case. So here you can see our Operations Help Center board. The board is used to manage any IT or operations requests coming in from employees throughout the company. This is in both locations. So a ticket comes in, and then when our IT team changes the status of anything, an automation will automatically start the time tracking column. So when a ticket comes in and the status changes to working on it, the time tracking will start. And we also have the time to resolution here. So this way, both the requester and the employee in the IT team or the operations team, they can both see how long it should take and how long it's taking. And then, you know, you can compare both times. We also have automation set up that once a status is changed to solved, so once a ticket is solved, it moves down to a group of solved tickets. This way everything stays organized. And once that ticket is solved, it also sends out a notification to the requester telling them that, you know, either something is on the way or this has been solved. So let's see how this happens in live. So here you see our Monday forms. This is the same form used to gather the data on the stress test you saw on the risk management dashboard earlier. So it can be used pretty much for anything you need. So let's fill it out together. So it's easy as filling out your name, putting in a request. So I just moved apartments and I don't really have a desk or a workstation. So it's just as important to ensure your employees have all the tools they need to continue working efficiently, especially in times like these, whether that be a desk, help downloading a VPN, or a broken computer charger, or any kind of internet issue. So it can range from anything. So we hit we select the urgency. And here you can either, for the office, you can put the floor, and now in our case, you can put your address. I'll just put home here. You can add a screenshot if you need. You can say if it's IT, the location, and then you hit submit. And once you hit submit, this will automatically be updated on the board. So once the ticket comes in, the IT or operations team member gets a notification, and then the ticket starts to be worked on. Finally, maintaining a healthy work environment from home is just as important as anything during a crisis. Here you can see we have our working from home tips board. So here you'll find resources ranging all the way from tips for working at home. You will see projects, fun projects to kind of do on your own time, free virtual fitness sessions. So here we have recordings to yoga sessions, or Oren's therapy, or the best shows to watch on Netflix. And this can all be updated by employees within the company, and anyone in the company is really open to give their own tips. We also have, mostly, very importantly, resources for parents and kids. So, if you're looking for the kids to kind of stay busy and keep going, you can see we have resources for the kids here, so the parents can focus on, working and keeping that balance healthy. So that being said, I would like to introduce Eyal again.
Hi, everybody. Maybe before we summarize and move to the Q&A session, we have Ronnie with us, and she'd like to show you a bonus board tip for the financial part.
So could you show the board? I'm going to actually use your assistance in showing this. Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to mention a few things about the financial board. I know we really went through everything very quickly. I just wanted to go through what we put in terms of managing the crisis in the accounting and tax areas. So I just want to see that we see the screen. Perfect.
You see my screen?
Great. So perfect. Yes. Wonderful. So a lot of our clients have been asking us, how do I deal with this in terms of how this affects my financial statements? So as you can see, there's a lot of input here on, just what you need to do in your financial department. Do we need to examine the impairment of non-financial assets, measurement of investments? Income recognition has a lot of effect here. How do we look at the liquidity? And if we go down a little bit, then you can see that there's a lot of useful Q&As here. If we can go down the board here just a little bit further, right? So just looking at liquidity, because there's often issues around liquidity specifically now. We have to continue paying our suppliers. We don't always get the money from our clients. So we added a lot of topics here that you need to take under consideration. Also fines, contingencies, allowances, all of the issues that your finance department should be looking into. So just wanted to a short shout out just for you guys to check this out as well. And I think it could be very useful for the finance department.
Excellent. Ronnie, thank you very much for that. And
sure.
Thank you, Michal and Shaked and Ron. That was super interesting and hopefully beneficial for everybody. I saw a lot of questions about it in the chat. And as Ron mentioned, we will share with you tomorrow the recording of the webinar, as well as the landing page with some additional information about the partnership between Monday and KPMG. And in the page, you will also be able to sign up to the platform for those of you who are not yet our customers. And you also have access to the templates that we just showed you, the templates KPMG have built. So you can easily download them to your Monday account. And now I'd like to start the Q&A session together with a panel of experts from KPMG. So Ronnie, Gal, Shaked, and Michal, please join us. This one is for you, Shaked. Is Zoom secure in terms of cybersecurity? People are asking.
First, I'm not sure if you've seen the last, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I think last night or 2 days ago, the CEO of Zoom was announced that there is a security problems with Zoom that he's currently handling. So there is some secure payments in Zoom, but what we are seeing that they are not built. Originally, Zoom security was not built for private sectors, mainly for business sectors, and we're missing some security features. And many people also using the free Zoom that are missing some security features, but I see that they are adopting very fast new features that you have in other conferences options like Skype and Microsoft Teams and others. I think they are getting there, but we need to be very careful with using the right configurations when we are opening a Zoom to make sure we are closing it. But and you can find some of the recommendations in our board, but I think they are getting there. There are more secure applications today in the market, if I can say.
Okay. Question for you, Ronnie, and actually two questions. One is about the steps for the recovery. What are they recommended in terms of companies that cut the salaries?
Yeah.
And the other one is about the typical clients of KPMG.
Sure. So first of all, just to mention, what we put here are better practices for managing the crisis. We're actually working on adding more boards in terms of how to get out of the crisis and how to manage exiting this crisis. So there's much more content that's going to be added in the future. And what happens when you cut salaries is a very individual question for each and every company. But I think the most important issue is, and this is what we came here to actually help companies do with these boards, is really consider all of the different factors in terms of risks and implications and manage them throughout the company. So it's definitely an individual question in terms of a company. I do want to reference two issues that we did reference in the boards. One is the cash availability. So how do you manage your liquidity, which is a major issue in terms of salaries. I know this tool has helped companies in terms of understanding that they have a way to actually pay salaries going forward. And the second is understanding your liabilities. So making sure that you've put in all of your salary liabilities in the books. So hopefully that's helpful. Now, typical client, that's a great question because these boards were actually built in a very generic way, but we've already been helping clients that are, both mid-market clients as well as very large publicly traded and even publicly traded in the States. So this is really a framework. And what's amazing about it is that you can actually take it to your own company and work with the processes that we've built in, but also add in some of your own internal processes and allocate them based on the internal departments within your own company. So we've actually found within the past 2 or 3 weeks where we've been working with our clients that it fits from small, mid-sized companies to very large companies as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Ron.
Thank
Ron,
you.
I see some questions about Monday.
Yes. So we have a question here from Curdy. Was the view that you showed of resource management called the Workload View? So yes, if you go to your board and you go to the View Center, there's a view called the Workload, and this can also be used in the dashboard. So you could use this as a widget to allocate resources across multiple boards. So Billy's asking, did you use monday.com before managing the crisis in it? I think that's a question for KPMG.
Yeah, I'll also gladly take that actually. So monday.com and KPMG Israel have signed this alliance earlier this year, and since then we've been working very closely. This is just one of the boards that we're working on. We also have boards in other very different areas. So risk management for financial companies, cybersecurity management, etc. So these are just a few examples. We've seen the crisis, the global crisis around the COVID-19, and we've decided to build these boards and together with monday.com provide this to whoever wants to use them for a free trial for a month. So this is currently open. I saw a lot of questions about that. If you download the boards right now, you can use them at your own discretion, of course.
Thank you, Ronnie. So Lillian is asking, can you implement a workflow after having created a form? So once you submit a form, all that data is automatically populated into the board, and then you're free to customize it the way you see fit. So you can go up and set automations, you can go up and set email integrations or integrate your calendar or integrate Zoom. It's completely up to you how you want to customize your workflow. But once you submit a form, you're ready to go. You can start working on your workflow. Kohei is asking, can you guys share a template on project management as well? So this is more of this webinar was specific for crisis management, but if you do go to our template section, then you will see templates across different industries, and you will be getting the templates for this webinar, the ones you saw here as well. Janie is asking, are you seeing any revolutionary trends with the workforce given the upheaval to working from home? Anyone from KPMG?
Well, what we are seeing is that, and I think one of my colleagues called this the biggest experiment of working from home done in the past century. So what we are seeing is that companies are just working with the existing reality. So it's working from home is not an option; it's a must for most companies. And what we're mostly seeing is that this has created a huge impact on digitization in companies and enhancing the capabilities of working from home. Is this bringing more efficiency? I can't really relate to that because there are so many variables around here. So the fact that people are working from home is definitely not the only variable that has changed. The economy has changed. And as I mentioned, we're seeing a lot of issues around cash flow and deals that are reducing or stopping in certain cases. I do think, and we've heard this from quite a few of our clients, that this has proven to many of our clients that working from home is not only possible, it can be very efficient as well. So what we probably will see once this crisis is over, that companies will continue to work more from home than ever before. And I do want to, I know there's been a lot of questions about the boards and the content, so I do want to stress this again. This is all available at the moment from KPMG together with monday.com. So at the moment, free of charge, if you download the boards, you can use them at your own discretion.
Maybe just to add on top of that, Ronnie, from Monday's perspective, and probably Ron, you'll have different experiences. What I can say from my personal experience, I think obviously the change of working from home create a lot of challenges, and the fact that you cannot have face-to-face meetings internally and externally makes it a bit more difficult, obviously. But I think there are also tremendous opportunities, and the world really becomes flat in that aspect. So collaborating with the New York team and other teams, which on a daily basis you usually do it less, becomes like a regular thing to do, because it doesn't matter if you're talking to someone here in Israel, in London, or in New York. So I think in that aspect, it creates a better collaboration with other territories and other teams, which on a regular basis you're not used to. So that's one aspect. And another one is the fact that because all of us here at Monday, more than 400 employees are working remotely, so we're more sensitive to different features and capabilities that are very much needed. And we saw like a huge leap in terms of the progress the R&D and the product team made in the past few weeks to develop different things that really help us all to better collaborate remotely.
Yeah, just to add one more sentence, because you asked about trends on HR and digitalization. We see that if we talked about 5 years from now, that very large organization will be digitized. This is we see now an exponential growth within these channels, and of course it affects everything and the day-to-day life. So even financial institutions that are not used to work from home needs to be able to allow this to their employees. Now all the trends and the futuristics that talked about the future, all the models has changed because of this situation. So they are talking about 3 different scenarios. One will be the optimistic one, that it will finish, let's say, at the end of May, and we'll all get back to our life that we had before. The pessimistic one says that it will take at least 1.5 years and it will change everything that we knew. And the realistic one says that it will end in a few months, but this will affect it will change our business life and day-to-day life.
Thank you. Hugo is asking, how do you create master folders like the COVID-19 that you showed? I think you're referring to workspaces. So if you go above your profile picture in your account, there's a little question mark there. So if you click on that and you type in workspaces in the search bar after that, you will have all the information you will need on workspaces and how to set those up and how to create folders within them. It's a great tool to help you kind of organize everything, not only during a crisis, but in general to help you organize your workflow.
Ron, I see a lot of questions about how to download the KPMG board. So those templates will also be available in the Monday stories, and we'll also make them to be available in the landing page of KPMG and monday.com, which we will share with you tomorrow along with the recording of the webinar.
Yes, and also, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Victor is asking, how are you tracking productivity? So we have several features that will help you track productivity. If you're looking to track progress, you can use things like our battery widget or different status columns. You can also use time tracking in the formula column to track the amount of time spent and the amount of time estimated and to calculate the differences. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support team at support@monday.com, and they will help you set up that workflow for you.
Eyal, would you like to wrap up?
Yeah, maybe just an opportunity for last question. Ron, what do you think?
Yes. Okay, Nadia is asking, how does the Monday team approach new suggestions coming in from customers regarding new automations, integrations, and new features? So if you click on the Help Center on the little question mark on the bottom left of your account, you'll be able to suggest a feature, and our product team is constantly going through that, and based on urgency and how many people are asking, we're improving the different functionalities of the platform. You can also go to our community page, and there we have a whole community of our users offering different feature requests, and our product team is constantly going through it and filtering the different requests.
Just last thing, Eyal, please, if you could please put on the screen our contact information, just to make sure that everyone has it, it will be great.
Yeah, so maybe just for everybody to know, because we still got a lot of questions around that. So we will share everything with you by tomorrow, the recording of the webinar, the access to the landing page of monday.com and KPMG, along with the templates, which you can easily download to your account. And also we'll share with you the contact details of the great panel we had here. So I want to personally thank all of you guys from KPMG, Meital, Ronnie, Shaked, and Gal. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Ron, thank you very much for that.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll get over this crisis very soon and to the successful recovery we're all waiting for. Thank you very much.
Thank you.